Welcome back. Microgreens are some of the simplest and smallest plants that you can grow in the garden.
So maybe one of the best things about them is just how easy they are to grow inside your home. Garden guy Dale Kay joins us now in the studio with his pro tips for growing fresh microgreens in a snap. We're seeing so many more of those in the grocery stores nowadays, and they're not cheap.
Right, and the amazing thing is they are actually easy to grow, and it looks like winter isn't quite about to let go yet. So this is something that you can garden and do indoors right now. And I guess the first question I always get is, are microgreen seeds different than really any other seeds? And they're not. They're kind of the same seed. It's really just that you're harvesting them super young and you're actually sowing them really tight together, because you can do that because there's no other Crikey, we almost lost her.
Spoiler alert, Alex is on a box.
I'm on a box, and I just fell off. It's
because I'm so short. It's because I'm short.
That's it. Thanks, Dale.
They're actually
good.
So we're actually going to sow them really tight together, and we're going to harvest them young. So that's kind of the essence of microgreens. And there's lots of them. There's broccoli, there's arugula, there's wheatgrass.
You can do little baby broccolis?
Yeah, radish. There's so many different, really any type of sprout. There's so many to choose from that it's easy to kind of make those selections. But if you go to your favorite local garden shop, they will have seeds that say microgreens. And here's my first kind of pro tip. You'll find different sizes of seed packets. I always go with the larger seed packet, just like that, because you can run different rotations of crops on these. So might as well buy the big one instead of buying just little baby packets of seeds like this. Now there's all different types of vessels that you can grow your microgreens in. You could do them in mason jars. There's kind of, I call them capillary mats, but there's like a core mat, and that's what's over there growing those little bean sprouts. It's just basically a wet mat that you keep.
You don't need soil?
No, you don't even really need soil.
Huh.
Wow.
And they will germinate quite fine on that.
Okay.
I like to grow mine in potting soil and dirt. I think the sprouts will actually taste better, because I've actually tried them both. And if you're doing like a wheatgrass shot, maybe it'll actually taste a little bit more earthier if it's been grown in earth, right?
Sense,
stands to reason, right? So right by you, Shane, I got two different types of earth, if you will. The darker one there is just regular potting soil. The lighter one there is seeding soil, and you can really use either or for microgreens.
Okay.
The finer one, the lighter one there, if you're doing like a small seed, like a radish, that might be better. If you're doing like a wheatgrass, it's a little bit bigger seed, a potting soil would be just fine. Now I'm kind of OG, so I'm just going to use a recycled tray just like this, and I'm just going to fill it up with potting soil. But before I do that, watering is kind of key. So what I'm going to do is put about 2 cups of water just in the bottom of the tray before I put my potting soil in. And then I'm going to bang my potting soil in.
This is a chance for us to dig around in the dirt.
Yeah.
You know, right now when it's cold and we got a lot of snow heading our way, it's the idea of like putting your hands in dirt.
Well, is there snow coming? I just got back from Hawaii. Is there snow coming or something?
No, Dale. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
You're okay.
I'm just going to, and the reason I put the potting soil in early is because you don't want, the biggest thing with growing seeds is sometimes you'll get rot or mold growing on them, particularly if we're growing them close together. So I've just kind of put the water in the bottom, and that will wick up into the seeds, which is quite advantageous. And then what I'm going to do is just give this a quick spritz, and then it's really just a matter of spreading your seed.
So is that one small packet, or
this is wheatgrass, and I've gone into the bigger packet, but I'm going to grow this nice and tight because I'm going to harvest this early. I'm just going to use scissors to harvest.
What do you use wheatgrass for? Like in your
you could blend it, use it in smoothies. It's a great flavor boost. You could use it in salads. What I like to do with microgreens, I'm a little bit of a chef. Home chef, so you know presentation is everything when you're cooking. So having some little microgreen radish, like on a piece of salmon, something like that, even if you're not a good cook, it kind of elevates the dish a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is actually just put another flat just on top of that, and really that little bit of pressure is just like we'll start the seed, kind of nestle them in and start the seeds sprouting. Now they don't really need light to begin with. All you need is the soil the moisture and a little bit of warmth. So I've got like my seeding pad underneath there to kind of raise the soil temperature a little bit. And then when they're ready, this tray will actually lift up in about 14 days, depending on
You
your
just
seed.
leave it.
This tray will actually kind of start to rise, and that's when
Okay.
you know they're ready. And then you can just kind of take the lid off, and you end up with like kind of like sprouts like you got there. And then if you're cooking that nice piece of salmon, and maybe you burnt the edges, you put a little microgreens on top, and Bob's your
cover it
uncle.
up.
Yeah, it changes everything. It changes everything. And if you like Cody, you bang your wheatgrass into smoothie, take smoothie shots from there. But super easy to do.
Wow.
And the best thing is you can kind of run rotations or run crop rotations. So these take about, look at the back of the seed, it takes anywhere from about 7 to 14 days for germination, depending on what you're growing. So you can get your little calendar out and you can do these in batches. So you've always got, and you don't really need a lot of, this can go in the basement, right?
Somewhere
Until you
cool
need
and
a little
dark.
bit of light. Yeah, just nothing too, I guess nothing too damp. You don't want any rotting. The other thing is, I have like a little fan here, and once they sprout, to prevent mold, if you've grown microgreens before, oftentimes you'll see that there's some mold growing. If you have a fan on low and have some air circulation, that really kind of takes care of that. So that's another good pro tip if you're doing microgreens at home. But super healthy, super easy to do, and you can do it right now because, is there snow coming? Where's the
No,
snow
I
coming?
believe there is a little bit of snow.
Okay. I'm going back to Hawaii.
Wait, but if you trim this up, does it?
It'll keep
Just
growing.
keep going.
Yeah, it's particularly wheatgrass. It'll continue to grow.
Cool.
Is it going to continue to grow through summer?
So on a big tray like this, you can do multiple harvests, and then if you rotate the crops, you could have microgreens really all season long.
Wow.
So
a little
but
mini
a
farm.
lot of them you harvest young, so it's kind of like a one and done. Wheatgrass is a little bit different, where it's a little bit like your lawn. You can kind of keep harvesting it.
Okay. I thought this was pretty fascinating.
Yep.
I may actually want to do it.
I learned a lot. I'm probably not going to do it, but thank you, Dale, for the information.
I'll share some with you.
Okay.